Amid fresh round of tension brewing in Manipur, exodus in the hill state continues with people from different communities leaving their homes and moving to safer places. While many Kukis are abandoning their homes in the valley region, people from the Meitei community are also leaving the hills to move to safer places. Shops remain closed in Imphal East, where a mob torched two houses. People were asked to remain indoors by security personnel manning the streets. The ethnic violence in Manipur that began in the first week of May, specifically on 3rd of May, has already claimed 73 lives and left thousands homeless. And to top it all, the residents of Manipur are facing a fresh challenge. That is the scarcity of essential items, as many trucks are stranded in parts of Manipur and many unable to enter the state through the borders. The state is also facing a shortage of life-saving drugs and other medicines. Meanwhile, the territorial army had to step in to ensure the supply of fuel and other essential commodities in the state. The Meitei World Council has now asked the Mizoram Chief Minister not to interfere in the ethnic strife in Manipur. And, today is another important day as Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma will meet today for the second round of border talks between the two states. The meeting will be followed by a joint visit to the interstate borders by both the chief ministers to give a message of peace. And, Kuldeep Singh, who's a security advisor to the Manipur government, when he went on his maiden visit to Kuki Zo district headquarters in Lamka, a town situated in the Chura Chandpur district, he was welcomed with slogans of "We want separate administration" and "Long live India." Now, the source of this video has come from a former BJP MP from the 17th Lok Sabha he's a candidate from the Outer Manipur Parliamentary Constituency, HS Benjamin Mate. Now, this was the visuals which you are witnessing on your screen was what Mr. Kuldeep Singh, who is the security advisor to the Manipur government, this is his vehicle, had to listen to the slogans of "We want separate administration" and "Long live India." So these are powerful pictures, and I think that you see a long line of people queuing up on one side, on both sides of the road, and there's also a big security presence there. And the sloganeering, when the slogans were shouted in favor of separate administration and also "Long live India." Between all this, news of violence and hates, here's some positive news which is coming from Manipur, which is like silver lining. 50 youth in Bishnupur, hailing from various communities, show the path to harmonious coexistence. Despite all these, the crisis which is going on, these students are continuing their preparation for NEET 2023 at Bishnupur, an Indian Army in collaboration with National Integrity and Educational Development Organization is running a boarding coaching facility for 50 students. So these are the visuals of how those those youths and the kids are preparing for NEET examination, which is going to take place some time from now. And in middle of all this, where they are battling and grappling paucity of the regular infrastructure or the environment which could help them study much, I think these visuals are definitely are most welcoming. I wanted to ask you a question, about this violent incident which took place day before yesterday, and where 3-4 houses were burned down, visuals of which you can see on our screen. Do you think this fresh violence has again torpedoed whatever fragile peace or limping back to a no violent incident in the last 10-15 days?
No, I don't think it has completely torpedoed the peace process of the attempts to restore peace and law and order. These isolated incidents will continue for a while, because a lot of people do these kind of things in troubled times when there are riots and there are large-scale violence, in the aftermath of these violence, when things people are trying to get things under control, the law enforcement agencies, then people try to settle scores. You might have some problem with X, and you see, oh, this is a disturbed situation, so go and hit this guy. Set fire to his house, set fire to his shop. So these kind of personal scores are being settled. I can tell you for a fact that these isolated one or two, three incidents does not really reflect the overall reality of the state. And the overall reality of the state is, after the massive mayhem that we witnessed, security forces have got things under control, largely under control, I would say. But then, you know what? Even if you have carpet deployment or saturation deployment, which means huge amount of people everywhere, security forces, even then, you can't dominate every inch of the ground. So there will be some areas which have been left out, and where people using this, troubled times, using the disturbed conditions, are trying to settle personal scores. This is number one. Number two, I would actually congratulate, or like to congratulate, with taking this opportunity, the Assam Rifles and other central forces who have done a great job, especially because they found, when they turned up there in large numbers to control a situation, they were denied much support from the local police, not because there was anything else, but because the local police was divided on ethnic lines. We have talked about this before. Métis police officials behaving like Métis rather than police officials, and Kuki police officials behaving like Kukis. So, the ethnicization of the police did not work well. When the local police is not a homogeneous professional force, central paramilitary forces are denied the intelligence support, the local sort of guidance, because, central forces don't know the place very well. I mean, some of them do because the units are deployed there, but a lot of units which are brought from outside, air dashed to Manipur, they would find it difficult to adjust to the conditions quickly, because they might have come from some other location where the topography is totally different, the demography is totally different, and so much different. So they have done a great job by actually getting the situation under control. So Assam Rifles actually deserves a lot of credit. Their DG, General Nair, deserves a lot of credit. Their area commanders in Manipur deserve a lot of credit. They have lived up to their reputation as India's leading counterinsurgency force. That's number one. Number two, having said that, and the BSF also in the areas they have been deployed have done a good job. Thing is, you now have a greater task at hand. The Union Home Ministry and the state government has to get the Manipur police back in shape as a homogeneous professional force where the pride of the uniform overtakes the fact of ethnicity. The pride of the uniform must overtake the fact of ethnicity. Otherwise, no professional force can operate in such divided area.
Mr. Hanching, if you're listening to me, I would want to ask you a question about this, sit-in protest which was done by thousands of Kuki yesterday in a Kethil Mambi military colony in Champai subdivision of Kangpokpi district. And, the slogan or the demand was that solution first, peace next. What exactly is the solution which is being demanded by Kukis who have, who are doing or taking part in this sit-in protest?
I saw those protests. My analysis, my personal opinion is that the hurt is very deep. The terror that they faced when they left. Most of those people who are in the demonstration are the people who have been displaced, and they're living in camps and shelters in Kethil Mambi. And peace without a solution means they will be subjected to the same insecurity, same threat of life. I mean, it doesn't make sense, peace. It'll be only temporary. So my analysis is that what they're saying is you should have a solution first. A solution, one of the things they're saying is a separate administration, or whatever the government thinks should be appropriate. That is, that is in a summary, that is what I think it is.
I would like to ask you, what exactly the situation down at the ground, and how do you see, what is the time frame you think, that the situation will come to absolute normalcy?
So I agree with the previous speaker. The issue is that these are not refugees of today. They are in the Northeast. Over the last couple of centuries, we've had a movement of tribes as they move in towards from Myanmar or Burma into this part of the Northeast. So the issue is there has been a migration of people. It is nothing new. These are tribal cousins. So this is a part of the Northeast. Now, how will it end, or how will we bring about normalcy? The first part of normalcy is that violence must end. How will violence end? Firstly, you have an adequate force now inside Manipur, but you need the politicians to stop creating fire within the communities. They have to stop telling their smaller communities that they are at risk and that the state cannot protect them. The only reason why this happens is they feel that they are at risk and the state can't protect them. Why were the Kuki insurgents allowed to take out their weapons? The weapons were deposited in the Sioux camp. They should never have been allowed to take them out. Similarly, the Meitei community or the Manipur Rifles has also permitted a certain amount of weapons to go to extremist elements of the Meitei community. So the weapons are already there. The organizations are already set. So when the weapons are there, the capabilities are there, the intent changes, and that's what happened. The intent has changed, but has the politicians' intent changed? Have they stopped saying, please, let's get peace? How can the Assam Rifles bring peace if we are not able to control the utterances of our leaders?
Absolutely.
So the first step, I would say, is that the political authorities must say that we will protect all communities. The second step is get back into contact with the Sioux groups. Tell them to come back to the Sioux camps. Why was the Sioux agreements cancelled 4-5 months back? They should never have been cancelled. We had them, violence had stopped, people were talking about development. Manipur was looking at a larger development base for the first time since independence. Get the Kuki group back into the Sioux camp. Get them to deposit their weapons. Get the Manipuri extremist elements to get them to deposit their weapons back with the Manipur Rifles and the Manipur police.
Yes,
Once you've taken away these part of the weapon systems, then you can get the leaders of the communities to sit down together, take out the hotheads and talk peace. After all, we have been at peace. Manipur was it over the last 20 years. And I'm telling you because I am a soldier, I have been a witness to these riots all my life. I have been fighting these extremist elements, and I said 1988, we were protecting Kuki villages. Why were the Kuki gangs or the Kuki people allowed to raise Kuki insurgent groups? That was to fight the Tankuls or the NSC and IM. So similarly, at each point, you would have one kind of leadership saying that let's create this organization which will counter the capability of another organization. It doesn't work. You've only created one more snake in your garden that you can't control.